Sheriff, bring some guys from the jail.
That's a wrap. Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call us to order, so if we could please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Our esteemed auditor has a little bit of an overview for us to go over and some questions I know that she had concerning what we're going.
Just a couple of
items that we probably need to discuss.
Yeah, so I'll give an overview. We can have discussion, and then I believe you were going to open it for public comment, and then anything else you might want to take care of before adoption next Tuesday. As far as an overview of 2025 budgets, the maximum levy growth was capped at 4% for 24 and 25. NAV is up by 9.54%. The reassessment levy we are holding at $400,000 because they have a good cash flow. Lit was up, just the regular distribution, up 7.9% over 2024. General fund revenue is, the estimate for 25 is 9.8% over the 2024 expected. However, if we look at that in terms of what we are actually seeing in revenue, it's only about 0.6% higher, so still a very conservative estimate for 25. The general fund budget is 5% over the 2024 approved budget, which makes sense considering the salary increase. But if we look at that in terms of our actual spend rate for 24, we were sitting at about a 94% spend rate. It is approved at 12% higher. But we know we don't spend 100% of our budget, so that number is artificially high as well. For salaries, the 5% increase is included, and some other compensation, which I'll just go over briefly as well. So there were corporal stipends and communications or corrections officer stipends from last year. We're in year 2 of that. That was by the Public Safety Committee recommendation. And then there's a 3% additional for merit deputies for 25 from the Personnel Committee recommendation. There were 3 new positions as a net. There were actually 5 with 2 eliminated. So that's kind of the synopsis of the budget discussions last week. Just looking at revenue, if we look at actual 23 compared to expected 24 and expected 25, you can see the major categories that we have: taxes, intergovernmental charges, etc. Obviously, income and property tax are a significant part of our revenue source for the general fund, but you can see that we're increasing slightly or holding steady on most categories. We do have a slight decrease for 25 expected in other receipts, which is mostly interest earnings. And as we heard at the Board of Finance meeting earlier today, we could see a decline in interest as early as this month yet. So, and then even though property and income tax are a significant part of our general fund revenue, all other sources make up almost a third of that revenue. So. Revenues projected at $67 million for 25. Budget is sitting at $69 million, assuming a 97% spend rate, leaves you about $75,000 that you cut more than necessary. So a little bit to work with there. These are what the other budgets look like from proposed to revised. Again, a majority of those are actually adds because of the change in salary. They were calculated at 3 and then approved at 5. You reviewed other budgets: solid waste, Little Weehawken Conservancy, and the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And then the 2 questions I had, just want to confirm some of the part-time rates. We didn't really get into a discussion about that, but they were in the budget book. There was an administrative assistant position going from $40 an hour to $65 an hour, and I believe Jody was going to look into that and ask questions, but that was the only one that really stood out to me as a huge increase from last year. By comparison, legal interns are $50 an hour, so that was one question. Also wanted to just confirm the election board member pay and the deputy election board member pay, what was on the salary statement and what was included in the budget. And then it was mentioned once, but again, not a lot of conversation, whether we wanted to transfer any money from the general fund to the self-insurance reserve, maybe $500,000 or $1 million. And that would really, I could do that this year, could come from cash balance available this year, if that was something you wanted to shore up that reserve fund like we did the rainy day fund for this year. So those would be items that I was kind of looking for some direction on.
What is the self-insurance fund currently?
It's about $7 million. It's been hovering at $7 million the past
Okay.
couple months. And then the reserve balance is 2.5 with a minimum target of 3.
Okay.
And that $500,000, that's the money that we had taken out of that fund to help fund the, was that workers'
Workers'
comp and all of that?
self-insurance. I think
And-
you took $1 million and then you put $500,000
Right.
back.
And we
So
said
you're-
that we would try to make that whole as soon as we could. So I think that I would think that'd be a good idea.
I would agree with that. And yes, I'll get in touch with Pat tomorrow to talk about the prosecutor's question. And then on the election board and deputy election board, those are the correct amounts
Okay.
that we should have in the budget.
All right, thank you. That was the extent of my overview.
Okay. Any other discussion from council?
I would just say, Jennifer, if we can move $500,000 from this current year, if that's in the cash balance, go ahead and do that now. That way we're not kind of pigeonholing ourselves next
Right.
in the 25, would be my opinion.
Okay.
If it's there. I think it is, but you have a better idea than I do.
We'll
Should
probably do
should
that
that
for
be
October, November.
for October or
council meeting.
November?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any public comment to come before us this evening? Here I was. Oh. Sure. That's, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I'm out.
Go ahead and turn on your mic there,
Can you hear
John.
me back there?
Turn it on.
I don't know if I'm out of order or not, but I get a lot of constituents throughout the county have asked me over the years, and that doesn't really pertain to the budget per se, but they want to know how much of our property taxes goes for schools. I always throw them a 68%. Am I wrong or high or low, or does anybody know? And well, how much, certain.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that.
Yeah.
It used to be a lot more before the state took on the general fund, so
Okay.
now it's basically capital and,
I get questions, go out to eat, and people ask me, send my taxes. Well, your taxes are, property taxes usually in the general go up about 3.2%, 3.26%. I've noticed over the years I was in business, but I always told them 68%. But just a little bit of food for thought. When you find that out, maybe I can give people an answer,
okay.
whether it does any good or not.
John, I will say that money it can only be spent on certain things. So it does not go to teacher salaries or things like that. It's only buildings and maintenance and grounds and buses and transportation and technology. So just to clarify that the property tax money, while it does go up, it can only go to certain things. It's capital projects and non-certified staff.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, so if none of you are clamoring to partake of any public comment, then I will. Yes, Kathy?
I just have one other comment, and it's just a thank you to Jennifer and her staff for everything that they did during the budget cycle, all the work that goes in behind the scenes, and then the days that we're together. This year, it just, I don't know, it just flowed so well. So thanks to you, Jennifer, and Kevin for your leadership, and Jody for guiding the council through the budget process. And Jennifer, I know we joke about this, but at least, I mean, how many times did you have to rewrite it this year? Because the year before, it was a whole lot more. So thank you. Yeah. But thanks. I mean,
Yes.
you
Thank
make
you.
our job a lot easier, so thank you.
Well, since we're into kudos, I'd thank Paula, I assume, not for sure, unless Tom went and got all the food and the donuts and everything. Huh?
And then he packaged them in the little packages to make it.
Whoever
Yeah.
did, thank you very much. I ate my share. And my
Yes.
sugar rate went up.
It made the budget process, the hearings go much smoother because we were all happy and
Angry council people.
that's right.
Headwinds, let it go through. Thank you, Paula.
All right. Well, anything else for the good of the budget process this evening? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.